Hello, everybody, and welcome to Enjoy English School. I am Shane.
I'm Betty.
Hello, Betty. We are looking at how the modern Santa came to be.
Right, Santa Claus.
Santa Claus! Wow, I love Santa.
I don't believe in Santa.
You don't believe in Santa Claus?
No. I'm brought up by very practical parents.
Oh my goodness, I feel so sorry for you. That's terrible. Well, we're still going to learn about the story behind the jolly old man. And we all know the jolly old man that we all know and love. So if you don't believe in him, I don't think you can love him.
我还是喜欢啦，我还是喜欢。我觉得他的那个形象我是喜欢的。哦，我喜欢过圣诞节。
Okay.
你可以吃很多东西，然后交换礼物。但是我没有特别想说会有人丢礼物到我烟囱丢下来这样子。没有。
You don't believe in that part,
right?
No.
If that's the case, I just want to ask you, when did you stop believing in Santa Claus?
What do you mean?
几岁你才知道说他是假的，还是你还是觉得他是真的？
他是假的吗？Let's see. About when I was probably 6 or 7.
那你比平均年龄还要早。统计出来好像美国人大概8岁的时候就才知道说，他是假的。
Yeah, I wasn't really smart, so because I think it depends on where you live, right? If you live in an apartment, you don't have a fireplace.
You don't have a chimney.
You don't have a chimney, so you think, that's not what Santa, how did he get in? Does he have a key to my house? I don't know. Right.
对，所以同学呢，你们大家呢是几岁还知道说，圣诞老公不存在？那如果现在还相信存在的，那我们就很不好意思哦，今天可能你就会梦碎。好，我们来看一下这个标题，他说 came to be， 那个 come to 的意思就是有变成逐渐变成怎么样的意思，原本不是这样，那慢慢的变成怎么样，所以是圣诞老公他是从以前怎么样变成我们现在认识的圣诞老公公 came to。 For example, I've come to appreciate the beauty of nature. 以前没有办法去看那个自然有多美，但是年纪比较大了，就慢慢有办法去欣赏。所以他讲的是一个过程 ，come to.
Right, or like an evolution. Okay. And we have a jolly old man, which is referring to Santa Claus. So jolly just means really happy.
欢快的，开
Right,
心
and
的。
we've all seen his big white beard, so he's
Smiling.
He's not a young Santa, I wonder why, though. Like, he's always the same age. Was he ever young?
We'll
is it
learn
always
more
old?
about that. We'll learn a little bit more about how he, come to become this like jolly old man.
Okay,
in our lesson.
Why don't we get into it then?
How the modern Santa came to be. Christmas is celebrated throughout the world. Almost everyone knows the image of Santa Claus, also known as Old Saint Nick. After all, he is hard to miss with his bright red clothing and big white beard. But who is Santa Claus? And why is he associated with Christmas, a holiday that represents the birth of Jesus? Long before the birth of Jesus, many cultures already celebrated festivals in winter, where people gathered and shared gifts. Over time, many of these traditions became part of Christmas. Some believe the big jolly fellow giving gifts in the middle of winter may take after figures like Odin from Norse mythology or Dionysus from Greek traditions. The name Santa Claus comes from Sinterklaas, which is a character from Dutch folklore based on Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a Greek bishop from the 4th century. The Catholic Church made him a saint because of his many kind acts, such as giving gifts to the poor. He inspired many people to help those in need. Eventually, people began to celebrate his legacy each December. Unlike the figures from mythology and folklore, St. Nicholas was a real historical figure whom we still remember today.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's find out about this jolly old man, Santa. Okay, Christmas is celebrated throughout the world.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? Almost everyone knows the image of Santa Claus, whether you believe in him or you don't. Right? You know the image, also known as Old Saint Nick.
对，我们来看一下，他就说啊，圣诞节其实全世界大家都在庆祝嘛，那几乎每一个人都知道这个 Santa Claus 圣诞老公公这个形象是怎么样的。那他也被就是以这个 Old Saint Nick 这个圣尼古拉斯老人被熟知。那我们来看一下这一课呢，今天跟明天这2课，老师都要请同学特别注意分词构句跟形容词子句，因为好多我们这课用了很多，这个文章比较难。那你看它是被熟知的，所以它是 known as。known as 你要用 VPP 哦。
Right, so known as Old Saint Nick. After all, he is hard to miss with his bright red clothing and big white beard.
对
Right, so after all, you know, it's very difficult to
explain in Chinese.
in
English.
Yeah. After all.
哦
Yeah. 要怎么解释？
我们试试看。After all， 它其实就在讲说，哈，这个前面这个东西啊是真的，那你要解释说，哎，为什么它是真的？比如说呢，I'll forgive you. After all, you are my best friend. 所以它其实就是要讲说，哈，前面这个东西啊，它是真的。那你提供一些证据，就毕竟怎么样？哎，前面我会原谅你啦，毕竟啊，你会提供一个理由嘛，啊，你是我最好的朋友。所以他就讲说，哈，他其实是要解释说，圣诞老人啊，大家都知道啊，毕竟他是怎么样？毕竟呢，原因去支持前面那个东西，你很难错过他，不是很难想他哦，这个 miss 是很难错过他啦，因为他就是穿很红啊，亮红色的衣服，然后你看他用那个大大的这个胡子 beard， 这个 beard 老师可不可以跟我们发音一下？不好念
beard。
哦，那如果是这个胡子是络腮胡那一种，那如果是这个八字胡嘞
？mustache。
对，两个是不一样的。
mustache and beard。
对，台湾人很常搞混，因为台湾比较少看到有人留2个都留，或者是留任何一个，就比较那不太知道。
Westerners more common will have a full beard, like me.
都是上下都有，对，一圈这样子。
Okay, so but.Who is Santa Claus? And why is he associated with Christmas, a holiday that represents the birth of Jesus?
Right, yeah.
Why? Mostly when we're thinking about Christmas,
we only remember Santa Claus.
What comes into our mind is this big, fat, wearing red, bearded old man, which has nothing to do with Jesus Christ.
对啊，同学有没有想过，就圣诞节为什么我们都想到圣诞老公公还有礼物？我是想到礼物。那为什么？对啊，你为什么不会想说是那个耶稣基督他诞生的那个日子呢？对不对？因为他这里就讲到说 be associated with 这个同学要记哦，是跟什么有连接、联想到，联想到后面要接介系词 with。那你看 Christmas 它后面接一个逗，它就同位语解释什么是 Christmas 呢？它就是一个 holiday， 什么样的 holiday 代表了耶稣基督诞生的日子，那个 represent 的话，老师可以帮我们解释一下。
Yeah, so represent just means to be like a symbol of something, right? Just like a symbol. So this holiday, we could also say this holiday symbolizes the birth of Christ.
对
The birth of Jesus, yeah. So to represent just means to be a symbol of something.
代表。那它的名字是 representation，比如说 this statue.is a representation of the hero. 这个雕像就代表这位英雄。那你如果是代表，如果是名词啊，代表，比如说一个公司的业务代表啊，客服代表就是 representative。如果要考那个雅思、托福、多益的同学 ，representative 还蛮常看到，尤其是多益。代表。
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing like, because I know in Taiwan, it's less common for people to celebrate Christmas.In your home growing up, did you have a Christmas tree and would you decorate with maybe pictures of Santa Claus or anything like that?
Never.
没有，
我不相信，但我妹很信，所以大家要配合她演一出戏。 我爸就要去。
可是不用信啊，it's just fun to have all the decorations. A Christmas tree is fun.
我个人是觉得很懒啊，就是很懒得去做这些东西，然后你还要收 Christmas 完之后你还要收哦。
That's true.
你可不可以放到下一个 Christmas 可以吗？就是 Christmas 完不收，放到下一年。
Because I do actually, I keep my Christmas decorations for about 3 months, so like 1/4 of the year. Because, like you said, it's
很麻烦。
It's difficult, but when you put up all the decorations, it really changes the feeling. You feel like winter is here, Christmas time is here. And for especially Westerners, that time of the year is so special. And I like to
get together thing?
Yeah, getting together and it's just, a season of giving. And, there's when you're a kid, you get vacation from school. When you're an adult, you also get vacation from work. So we look forward to this time.
温馨的季节
Yeah.
就可以放假。
So actually, I start putting up my Christmas decorations like in October, late October.
In late October.
Right after Halloween, decorations go down. And then I put the Christmas decorations up. And we actually do have a Santa decoration.
And you leave it there for 3 months.
And we leave it there until pretty much 过年, right?
过年是比较冬天的感觉。
But right around that time is when we start to take
收
down.
起来。
Yeah. But so much fun. Okay, why don't we take a break and we'll be back in a moment. Okie dokie, let's continue. So long before the birth of Jesus, many cultures already celebrated festivals in winter where people gathered and shared gifts. Right, so that makes sense.
对。
Because especially, around like the winter, around the winter time, you have like winter solstice and people are going to gather things together, to get through the winter. Food or maybe, things to keep you warm. And I think giving gifts is a good way of kind of spreading out
the joy
and the resources that you will need.
Right, in the past.
Yeah, in the past, the resources that you might need to get through a winter.
倒是有道理，因为台湾其实你这样仔细去想，好像冬至大家冬天好像都是会庆祝，因为冬至大家也是要吃汤圆啊什么的，所以可能是象征一个年结束，大家冬天比较难过，但冬天过完就春天又一年又开始，就可能庆祝说哇这年那么辛苦，然后最艰难的时候给大家在一起很温暖。就是说，其实在这个有这个耶稣基督诞生的这个活动或者这个宗教开始之前，其实很多国家的人呢，很多不同文化的人呢，他们都已经开始在庆祝庆典了哈。就是冬天就开始有一些庆祝，像冬至台湾就是要吃汤圆。那呢，这里的 where 同学要注意一下，这个 where 呢，它是讲地点啊，或者是讲一个活动，对不对？所以它就不是在讲前面的 winter， 它在讲的是前面的 winter 在前面一点的 festivals。at the festivals， 对不对 ？Where people gather， 就大家聚在一起，然后就给一些礼物，可能是给物资。炫老师是说给物资，因为冬天不好过。
Yeah, that's just one theory.
I think that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense, right? Okay. Kind of depends how far back in the history you're going, right? Okay, so over time, many of these traditions became part of Christmas. So that makes sense. You have all these traditions from different places, and that's what often happens. They just get adopted or they kind of merge into a different holiday.
对，那炫老师刚才讲的那个 adopted 跟 merge 的话，老师可以解释一下吗？
So to adopt something just means to make something that wasn't yours into yours. And merge just means to come together.
结合在一起。
Right.
对，或者是车子啊，你看你那个从交流道要上那个高速公路，你会 merge， 对，你会汇流，你会汇流。他就说，随着时间的流逝啊，很多的这些文化其实都变成了圣诞节的一个部分。那拿取了一些元素，然后融合成最后的圣诞节。
Right. Okay. So some believe the big jolly fellow giving gifts in the middle of winter may take after figures like Odin from Norse mythology or Dionysus from Greek traditions. So in fact, there are already these kind of like gods who are there that they think that Santa Claus is kind of taking after them, right? It's kind of to take after means that you are
similar.
Yeah, you're similar, and you're kind of it's almost like it's a kind of evolution from one thing to the other. So if I say, for example, oh, you take after your mother, that means that your mother looked a certain way and you look like her. But it kind of goes from the older generation to a newer generation.
继承是跟前面那一代有相似继承的。就你继承了前面那一代，比如说 I take after my mother and personality. Perhaps it doesn't have to be appearance. 有时候是个性啊都可以，或者是你爸数学很好啊，你数学很好，对，这种也是。
So here it's important to realize that Odin and Dionysus, they came before Santa Claus. So Santa Claus is going to take after
对，圣诞老公公是在 Odin 跟那个 Dionysus 后面，因为他是 take after， 他是从前面那些人，继承那些人的特色，然后变成圣诞老公公。他这里就讲说，有人就相信说这个这个比较壮硕、比较大只 big， 然后那么欢快的这个 fellows 的意思是
fellow just means a boy or a man, just a male.
家伙。Can we say fella?
Well, fella is like a more like slang way of saying fellow. But fella just means fellow. But I think you're right. We're more common here, fella.
Fella.
He's a nice fella.
对，他是一个很好。那通常 fella 是在讲男生，你不太能用女生，对吧？可不可以用讲女生？有点怪。
I don't know if a woman would feel weird if she were called a fellow.
好像有一点点。
At least is more like a feminine ending. So fella, you know, with an A ending.
Maybe more feminine.
Sounds more feminine.
我觉得没有，我觉得但可能不一定，因为通常是讲男生。
You're a nice fella. Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
对，有一点怪哈。通常讲男生，他就说这个很欢快，这个男生他就给礼物啊，在冬天过到一半的时候，那它这个原型呢，可能是相似，跟谁相似呢？从哪里来的这个元素呢？从那个北欧神话的 Odin 大家应该很熟，大家有看雷神索，就他爸爸，他爸爸就是 Odin，然后 Dionysus， 如果你有看波西·杰克森，那个酒神就是 Dionysus， 他是从希腊神话出来的。
没错。Okay, well, we take a quick break and we'll get back to Santa. Okay, welcome back. Let's get into some more Santa Claus. So the name Santa Claus comes from Sinterklaas, which is a character from Dutch folklore based on Saint Nicholas. Okay, so there was a saint called Saint Nicholas.
Right.
And and this character Sinterklaas is based on Saint Nicholas.
对，这里呢可能有一点复杂，我们来稍微讲一下，因为很多个名字嘛，他就说这个呢 Santa Claus， 这个我们讲圣诞老公公，这个名字它其实是从这个 Sinterklaas。那 Sinterklaas 是什么呢？不用担心，他我给你解释了。那这里呢，记得因为这个 Sinterklaas 它是一个专有名词，所以我们后面要加一个逗号，这个叫非限定修饰，考试中很常考哦。那这个名词的话呢，你不能用 that 取代那个 which， 因为它是非限定。你要记得那个逗号后面就绝对不能加 that。好它是从哪里来的呢？它其实是一个角色。那这个角色它是呢荷兰的民间传说里面的一个角色。那这个民间传说的这个角色 Sinterklaas， 它其实是从 Saint Nicholas 这个一个圣人尼古拉斯圣人而来的。同学是不是现在不飒飒？那个名字是不是听起来都很像
？Okay, so Saint Nicholas was a Greek bishop from the 4th century.
Who is a bishop?
A bishop, yeah, just like a religious figure in the church, right?
主教
Yeah. From the 4th century.
So it's a long time ago.
Yeah, quite a long time ago. Right? And so the Catholic Church made him a saint because of his many kind acts, such as giving gifts to the poor.
Right, that's why Santa Claus has to give gifts, because that's a tradition.
Yeah, so he was famous for giving gifts to the poor. So you can see how this became a tradition, giving gifts to people. Maybe in the beginning it was more for the poor, and then over time kids would be like,
我也想要这样，隔壁有，
隔壁有 you know, and then now all the kids have to get gifts and adults.
他就在这边讲到说 ，Saint Nicholas 他其实是一个希腊的主教。那主教呢，他的位置就稍微比较大一点的，就是跟 priest 比起来，那个 bishop 的位置比较高。但是因为宗教的东西比较复杂，所以我们就不要讲细节，因为我们不知道，对，又有点复杂。因为宗教很多分派，所以很容易讲错。对，他就说从4世纪的这个希腊的一个主教。他其实就是 Saint Nicholas 圣尼古拉斯，然后他就说，这个天主教教会呢，他就让他变成一个圣人，那个 Saint， 因为你要做很多好事，你才可以列为圣人嘛。因为呢，他的很多很好的一些行动，比如说他最著名的就是他给那个穷人一些礼物。对，他其实有个故事，就叫做那个好像他帮助了爸爸要嫁3个女儿，可是爸爸没钱，这样他就把钱给了那些女儿，让那些女儿可以顺利出嫁。
Oh, really? You've heard that?
就给他嫁妆，我这样讲会不会要讲？应该对了，我老师我去查一下。
Okay. Interesting.
这是最有名的哈，这是最有名的。
Okay, so continuing, he inspired many people to help those in need. So if somebody's in need, that just means that they are, typically, that's going to mean that they are poor, that they don't have the basic things that they need for life, whether that's food or shelter or proper clothing, you know, those types of things. So if you're in need, you know, you have needs, and so basically that's what he basically inspired different people to also go ahead and give gifts.
Right, which is like very nice, right? You can spreading your love forward. 他就在讲说呢，其实呢，他就激励了很多人去帮助那些有需要帮助人。这个 in need 就是需要帮助的人。同学不要再说 in need， 他到底需要什么？他就是需要帮助，好吧 ？In need of help， 通常是处在比较贫困啊、比较弱势环境的那些人。对 ，in need.
Right. Okay. So eventually, people began to celebrate his legacy each December. Okay, so his legacy is just like what he left behind.
遗留下来的一个传统，
Right, yeah. Unlike the figures from mythology and folklore, Saint Nicholas was a real historical figure whom we still remember today.
Yeah, so that really sets him apart from Odin and from Dionysus.
Yeah, because they're like gods, right? And Santa Claus is just really based on a person. He's a mythical figure, but he is based on a real person.
对，这是他比较不一样的地方。
Who loved to give gifts to people who needed them. So
对。所以他其实很特别，因为他就说啊，其实说最后大家就开始呢庆祝了他这个 legacy。legacy 老师刚才有讲，就是遗留下来的一些传统，或者是历史遗产，也可以叫 legacy。对，他就说每一个12月我们都会庆祝他遗留下来这个传统。那他说不像其他的这个 figure 是指人物，有些呢从传说神话的人物啊，他根本就你没有看过他，不知道他是真的假的。可是呢，我们这个 Saint Nicholas 他其实真的历史上真有其人。然后同学这个 whom 记得啊，这个我们这一课要复习形容词子句，你要多注意一下。这个 whom 呢，它是当受格。那通常现在的 whom 你可以用 who 代替，你也可以用 that 代替啊，不然就不要写受格就可以省略掉，因为它是形容词子句的受格啊，所以你可以省略。所以还有很多个变换，同学每个变换都要熟悉，因为考试它就是会一直抽换，一直抽换。那这里的 whom 啊，它就是你可以用 that 代，因为它也不是限定修饰，它也不是非限定修饰，它没有逗号嘛，对不对？你才能换成 that， 它就变成了一个人物，然后我们到现在都还记得它。
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for day 1 of Santa Claus, but we do have day 2.
Yeah, we're going to learn more.
Make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you at day 2.